Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a very rainy morning here in Hamburg. We actually had a pretty crazy, probably not as crazy as in some parts of the world, but compared to other winters in Hamburg, that snowstorm 2 days ago was pretty intense. We had, I would say, about, at least in my garden, there was snow about, I would say, 50 centimeters, so maybe 2 feet. 2 feet, something high snow when you don't kind of plow it away. So that was pretty high and unusual. So streets were crazy. Today it is melting, but we have a lot of rain, and I just arrived at work. So I'm doing this big project. I was fortunate enough during that heavy snowstorm to be able to work remotely, but today I have a couple of agency and client meetings, so I have to be at work. And I honestly don't have that much to talk about today, but in my goal to always kind of utilize these vlogs, I want to kind of obviously journal a little bit daily. But now that I think about it, I actually had something that I was thinking about last night before going to sleep, and that is the term evolution slash de-evolution, because I noticed something on my channel. Yesterday's vlog was about kind of throwing out perfection, right? Where I kind of talk about making these one-take vlogs somewhat of being very conscious about it, because there are so many really good creators that put so much effort in their videos, and where I was kind of also saying that it's not as real, because, for example, if you do a vlog, a cinematic vlog like Life of Riza, for example, where she has this really beautiful cinematography, you need to kind of repeat a couple of steps, or even if you don't repeat it, you need to break down whatever you're doing every time to kind of move the camera and kind of crafting those shots that basically makes your life a little bit not only complicated, but it feels a little bit staged and forced and not as natural as if, like in this case, I would be just talking to the camera without any breaks, right? So I was kind of thinking about that because, as I said, talking to the camera without any edits makes it more realistic. And I also kind of implemented that into my main channel with a couple of formats on my channel. For example, the first impressions and quick looks. I intentionally, with those videos, kind of make it a point not to inform myself about the product that I'm doing a first impressions on. So I can give you the experience as if you were standing next to me and kind of seeing how I react to the product without any information and seeing that item for the very first time. But I also kind of implemented this thought process from this channel where I don't edit those videos at all. I just leave it running, so you can kind of, for example, if I see something that I don't really like or that surprises me, I'm not editing out those moments of trying to figure it out or being surprised, and that makes those first impressions more honest and more realistic, because yes, obviously they become much longer, but you can really experience my first reaction to that. And when I compare that to my older videos, you could, from let's say very superficial or glance, you could kind of say, okay, you de-evolutionized your videos, because previously I did or I'm still doing that with my reviews, but all of my reviews or all of my videos were highly edited with a lot of B-roll and with a lot of intent in kind of crafting the images. And again, edited, lots of B-roll, not giving me any room to kind of make mistakes. So whenever there would be a break where I had to think about something, or in the very beginning, I also scripted my videos and then kind of memorized what I scripted and then kind of presented that in the A-roll. Then I kind of went to just talking off the cuff, but editing out all of the mistakes. And now I kind of opted to not edit stuff out and even make less edits and stuff like that. So with that in mind, I actually really made a point to give myself even more room to talk about this kind of stuff. And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of de-evolutionizing what I have been doing previously. So less cinematography, less edits. But when I thought about it yesterday evening, it's also an evolution of me, because I'm more comfortable to kind of just talk and not script, just talk about whatever comes to mind, be confident about just leaving in mistakes. And honestly, leaving in those mistakes makes your presentation even more honest and more relatable and not as like polished. And I see that with a lot of these bigger creators, while they are very entertaining and very, you listen to them obviously, but it becomes more disconnected because it suddenly becomes like TV, you know? It is an entertaining TV show. But once you leave in the mistakes and those ums and ers, it gets more difficult maybe to watch, but it's more relatable in a way where you can kind of see, okay, that is an honest review of someone like me, someone who also just purchased that item, you know? And I kind of like that. And for me, that is an evolution of me as a creator. And yes, a de-evolution of maybe the style that I have been incorporating in all of my videos. I still do those videos with lots of B-roll and lots of edits. But for some of the content, I rather opt to not edit at all. Just leave it running. And I think, especially with those first impressions and quick looks, it kind of supports that idea of it being a first impressions, because you really can experience me kind of stumbling upon a feature, then being surprised by that and trying to figure it out for the very first time. I could just edit out that figuring out, but then you wouldn't experience, oh, okay, even Bo had some issues with that feature. So I'm not the only one having those issues with that. So, you know, that's why I kind of leave that in now. And for me, it is somewhat of an evolution of me creating those videos. And again, this makes this a little bit more realistic. And the point of this video is kind of encouraging you to make mistakes, to leave those mistakes in and not kind of stressing out too much about perfectionism, about the video being perfect and being without flaws, you know, and kind of embracing that. Yeah, that's maybe some food for thought. Let me know what you think about this. Again, I do realize these videos that I have been making lately are so long, and looking at this channel, probably not as successful. People crave or still want to be entertained, especially in this high-paced world. They don't want to kind of watch someone ramble. So there's an argument that is definitely a de-evolution of my content, because people don't really want to sit down and listen to all of that. But from a personal connection perspective, I think it's a little bit more human. And I at the moment, I do enjoy that. Yeah, let me know what you think about that. I do acknowledge that these longer videos make it a little bit more tedious to consume as a watcher, a listener to videos or content. But yeah, let me know. What are your thoughts about this? All right, maybe check out the video from yesterday where I talked about kind of saying bye to perfection up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. I see you in the next video. Thank you very much.